Hi there guys, I hope you are having a good day. Grab yourself a cup of tea and let's talk some boxing. Now, Sam Jones has said that he and Joe Joyce would be open to Joe Joyce versus Luis Ortiz. Now, this is coming off of Joe Joyce's win over Carlos Takam, and he is starting to put together a string of good performances, or winning performances. I mean, Joe Joyce doesn't look that quick, and it isn't the prettiest of boxing styles that he has, but it is effective and it gets him the victory. At the end of the day, that is the most important thing, alongside being entertaining. And I think we do get that with Joe Joyce after Daniel Dubois and Carlos Takam. I know that Carlos Takam isn't the same fighter he once was, but still, he stood up to the heat and he did take a lot from Joe Joyce. In the end though, Joe Joyce just kept moving forwards, pressured him, and tried to break him down. It was interesting the way he approached that fight in going down to the body and making subtle adjustments here and there, like working down to the body to slow Carlos Takam down and make it more difficult for him to try and apply his own pressure. So following that one, it looks like next they are looking for a new opponent and a new challenge. Could that be Luis Ortiz? That is definitely possible. I'm not entirely convinced how Luis Ortiz matches up to the likes of AJ and Fury. And I know that he's not going to fight someone on that level next, but I think that Joe Joyce would be benefiting from fighting someone taller with a good jab, good movement, and good power as well. Luis Ortiz is a smaller opponent compared to AJ and Fury, but still, if he is able to get in the ring with him, and if he is able to get the victory, then that's a good win. How would we rank that alongside Daniel Dubois and Carlos Takam? I mean, he is a different level of opposition compared to Daniel Dubois, but Luis Ortiz has had two big fights against Deontay Wilder, and he did lose in both of them despite being in control, mainly in the second one, and having a really close call with getting the victory. I mean, he was so close to stopping Deontay Wilder, but nevertheless, those are still marked down as defeats, 2 world title opportunities, 2 defeats. So Luis Ortiz hasn't proven his level. He can be talked about among Anthony Joshua, Dillian Whyte, Tyson Fury for an opponent, but again, he isn't someone who has proven himself, like even Dillian Whyte has done, like Joseph Parker has done by fighting Takam and by fighting Andy Ruiz. So where does Luis Ortiz rank? I would say he's just inside the top 10. Maybe, just. He only just edges in. And, I mean, it would be a good experience for Joe Joyce. Anything is going to be at this point. Anyone in the top 15. Maybe Joe Joyce would benefit from going down the route of an F.A. Ajagba or a Kubrat Pulev. I know they are 2 different ends of the spectrum because F.A. Ajagba is up and coming just as Joe Joyce is, and Kubrat Pulev is at the other end. He's towards the end of his career, coming off of a defeat to Anthony Joshua, but he does have that height, he has that movement, he has the reach, the positioning, he's technically very good, has a good backhand as well. So that would be a good situation and opposition for Joe Joyce to try and navigate. F.A. Ajagba would be similar to the Daniel Dubois fight in the fact that he is an undefeated challenger coming up. Yes, he has a different style, but you know what I mean by fighting another young challenger just like himself, young in the pro game, whereas Pulev would bring a wealth of experience. It was interesting because we were talking about this when talking about Amir Khan and Conor Benn. The fact that Conor Benn has bypassed British and European level, going straight to the world scene, and he hasn't had the opportunity to fight for a British title or European title because he's gone down a different route. Yes, he's fighting fighters such as Samuel Vargas, who do bring experience to the table, but the thing is it can also benefit a prospect by fighting someone around their level, undefeated, young, hungry challengers, because then, when the heat is on, say Anthony Joshua fighting Dillian Whyte and having that sticky moment in the second round, that would have prepared him well for what happened in the Klitschko fight. So while gaining experience over quality operators who have the experience, it can also be beneficial fighting an undefeated challenger just like them, because they will want to win. They will have the hunger, just as Conor Benn, just as Joe Joyce has, to try and get to the next level. And Joe Joyce has already had that. He could have another one in someone like Efe Ajagba. I know that Efe Ajagba is actually fighting Frank Sanchez on October 9th, so it isn't going to be him, and maybe it could be in the future, but it's not going to be him next. I'm just thinking that there could be someone around that kind of level Joe Joyce could go for. At the moment though, he is in a position where he'll get his opportunity to fight AJ. He has all but been guaranteed that he will do, so there is no need for him to take any risks because he's done that to get into the position he is currently in by fighting Daniel Dubois. I mean, that was an incredible risk to take, and boy did it pay off. It's given him this opportunity. At the moment, the smart thing to do would be try and keep getting the experience. I mean, he's had that fight against Daniel Dubois, as I said previously, against the young, hungry challenger like himself. Now he can move on, start getting more experience in the pro game, experiencing different styles to get him ready for a world title opportunity. I believe that Luis Ortiz would be a good fight for Joe Joyce. Intriguing, interesting, explosive. You don't know what's going to happen. And that is what Joe Joyce seems to be bringing to the table at this stage of his career. And it is exciting. So whatever happens next, it seems like Joe Joyce is still going to go for a tough challenge. Let's hope that it happens. Guys, anyway, what are your thoughts on this? Make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments below. Also leave a like and grab that subscribe button. Thanks guys.